Aloha BMore Brew Crew. We are back at Late Addition with two master judges to break down one of...
Not a master judge.
Okay, one master judge. Okay, so correct me here.
No, sorry, I'm just being pedantic. National judge. He's a master judge. Yeah.
National judge and master judge. I would say it's good enough, and I'm just a nobody who's going to enjoy this beer, hopefully. You know, but we're going to break this down. This is one of the Baltimore homebrews. So one of our members, Tom, brewed this up. And so all we know about it is he's a movie nerd like me. He's got the family portrait bottle art with Darth Vader, and then we got Mark Hamill on there, and Carrie Fisher, and a skeleton.
That's pretty cool. And I like that he has a hop here with the Maryland colors flag kind of integrated.
I guess
there,
that's his own label, yeah.
What's up with the Maryland Pride? I've never figured that one out. I saw the
cool.
band Clutch one time, and it was like so much Maryland Pride. It was overflowing.
Actually, look at his cap. He's got his own little cap there.
It has a skeleton with a like an Irish cap there.
Irish cap.
Awesome. It's pretty wild. And
well, he does have a green Irish beer that he gave us too.
Oh, it's a shame. The one thing I would say is that it's a little bit low fill. So you see how I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera, but the beer level is a little bit low. Chances of oxidation are higher and losing carbonation, but we're not going to...
Is it bottle conditioned? I mean, that's a little bit better if it is. It's filled up.
I can't tell. But that's just a little nitpicky note. I mean, nice little fizz there. So it's all right. Here we go.
Oh,
whoa. So it might be bottle conditioned. It might be heavily carbonated. That is gassy. See that?
Oh, it's coming right up out of there.
Yeah.
And it's so there's a lot of carbonation that everything in the bottle is sort of mixing up right away.
So it might have been bottle conditioned, and it might have had a lot of stuff in the bottom because it's you can see it's has a little bit of turbidity here.
So he's got this is a bourbon golden stout, 12% ABV.
Okay, golden stout.
Should we share the love? Should we pass this around for everybody else here?
Sure, absolutely. Have some fun.
All right, hey Adam. All right, share the love, my man. We got our pours here. If anybody else wants to enjoy that.
So if you want to do color first, or appearance first, sorry?
I was going, we already kind of talked a little bit about it, but it's obviously, it is turbid looking.
Dense foam, tight foam, creamy color.
A little bit of tan to the head. It's not off-white.
It's like a light tan. Yeah.
Color of the beer is orangish, but very, very hazy.
Mm-hmm. So the first thing I would say.
So what is the style?
It says bourbon oatmeal stout. Oh no, oat stout. Bourbon oat stout.
So are we talking about a white stout?
A golden stout. Yeah, golden stout.
Okay, gotcha.
White stout. Yeah. Sorry.
Makes more sense. I had on the nose right away. I got something that I was like, that makes more sense.
So if you want to do nose, I'm getting pyrazines. So green peppers.
I get green peppers.
Yeah.
So it's the first thing I got right away.
Yeah.
Here,
me too, boys. Green pepper all the way. You know what? I was waiting for you guys to say it. You know?
Well, thanks for giving us. You served it up. You're a good host. Yeah. So it smells like it's coffee. We'll find out if it has coffee in it. And it didn't say on the label, but
those green pepper. As soon as I smelled it, this is green pepper.
Those pyrazines from over-extracted coffee and oxidation is common, and you'll get it in a lot of coffee beers. So if it has coffee, not saying that it does, but it definitely gets green pepper.
Yeah, and there's a long story there about green pepper and questions about that, but it seems that darker roasts tend to throw off more green pepper than lighter roasts, so it's something to consider in the future. If you're doing a coffee beer, maybe not use the darker roast when doing it, but maybe this is a lighter roast. Who knows? Maybe it's not coffee, but the first thing I got was green pepper on the nose.
Also on nose, I get like a perfumey, almost like soapy characteristic. So usually soapy is hops. So I'm not sure if it's water or if it's hop bill. I just don't know. But it's I get a little bit of a soapy, like a hand soap characteristic. Lavender maybe. So to me, the way it gushed out of there like that, it makes me think it's an infection. I don't know that it's an infection,
But with the nose, I'm not getting a ton of like phenols. Like usually infections would show themselves as a heavily phenol, plasticky sort of aroma. I'm not getting that on this. Do get a little bit of sourness in the nose. And a little smokiness too.
Yeah.
There's a smoky phenol.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about that, I get that.
So underneath the he's calling it a phenol. I'm calling it soapy and the pepper. I do get like a orange, like marmalade, probably medium. I also get light caramel, like a toffee. So Werther's without the butter. So I get like a Werther's, like a coffee candy type thing. That's probably low medium.
Yeah, definitely flavor, definitely smokiness, light rubbing alcohol. Dry though, really dry.
Super dry.
As a stout, I'm kind of not getting the stout sort of thing. This is supposed to be a golden stout.
Golden stout, yeah.
Yeah, not getting. First of all, stout would have to have a lot of body. Not getting that. It's pretty dry. It feels like it's fermented down pretty far, which also probably reflects as well the carbonation and sort of the in the bottle we saw. So
yeah. So to me, with the body being lower, I would question the amount of crystal malt. I mean, it's probably not a lot of crystal because it's a golden stout. So there's probably a lot of oats, oat stout or golden stout. He may have some crystal malt in there to get that color, or it could be English malt or boil. I don't know, but I don't have a lot of body on it. It's dried out a lot.
Really dry.
I'd be damned if this doesn't fucking have coffee in it, man. I mean, that's crazy.
I've gotten notes on it too, but you said you didn't want to see him till after we were done.
Yeah, that's right.
But
So
when
thanks
we're
for
done,
doing
you
that.
definitely wrote up some notes on this one.
So, funny enough, I just remembered that it is a bourbon. So, some of that caramel character and some of that heat could be from the bourbon.
But the bourbon, it's pretty subdued. Like you get
I
little
thought
vanilla.
the bourbon was gonna be more pronounced than this.
Yeah,
but it's
little
really
little vanilla. There's
Wow, I get that smokiness now, man. Wow, it's like I didn't get it at first. So I was thinking, what are you smelling? But just when it warmed up, a little hint.
little smoke and sour together. It's a very interesting. Honestly, it's not a terrible beer to drink. Like there's some redeeming qualities about it. I'm not sure in terms of style. I'd be like, wow, this is a little off. Especially like there's a lot. I mean, super hard. Like golden stout and bourbon together. Like there's a lot of tough things to run through there.
Can I ask you a question, right? So when you're reviewing these beers, do you try to find a redeeming quality in everything that you try?
Yes.
Or is there just some beers where you're just like, oh?
Well, it's a bad habit to get into fault finding. It is, and as judges, you tend to do it, especially if you're like on a sensory panel at a brewery, because you're always trying to find, is this beer good enough to release? But in home brewing, you're trying to tell someone how to be better. So that sometimes gets reductive to fault finding. But at the end of it, you have to tell the overall impression. You have to give this person a reason to go forward and say, hey, this is what's good, and this is how you can improve it, right? So I try to do both. I try to sit there and be honest, but also say what's good about it. So that golden raisin orange character is nice, and I think sometimes the way a beer is set up and served to you can bias you. So when I read the label and it said, bourbon golden stout, I started looking for that right away. I almost think if this was given to me without anything, I would have been more apt to say, is this enjoyable? Yeah. So if I would have been told this is like, a smoked bourbon or a peat, and not peaty would be scotch, but, a smoked beer with a little bit of bourbon character or whatever, I might have been like, oh, okay, I can see that. Does it work? I think there's some, highs and low points that don't make the beer cohesive. But it's still decent to drink. I'm drinking it as I'm talking to you guys.
There's an art to entering beers. I'm not sure this person wants to enter competitions, but there's an art to entering competitions. The beer you brew isn't the beer you're entering. Like whatever you taste it before you enter it, you're like, wow, this is kind of drier and maybe a touch sour, maybe a touch smoky, and I get some of that bourbon. Like, what can I do instead? Do something totally different with it. Be like, oh, this is a, I wouldn't even know exactly, but like a coffee, bourbon,
What's
smoke
that?
beer.
What's the
like,
drink? What's the drink with scotch and orange juice? Is it a rusty nail?
I don't think it's necessarily just those two things. There's actually a smoky. Rusty Nail has Drambuie in it, right?
I don't remember. But
Yeah, Drambuie's.
I've had a cocktail similar to this,
Yeah,
where it's like
Drambuie.
where it has like the scotchy and
my record.
I don't have top of mind, but I've had a cocktail that's similar to this, where it's smoky and orangey.
Yeah,
and
it's interesting.
Yeah.
Again, we're drinking it. Like there are times you have like a beer, you're like, oh,
I'm done with this.
You can't drink this. I'm gonna put this over here. And I've had enough.
Where's my water?
This is not that. This is.
You start doing this.
Yeah, this is good to drink. It's just like, well, we're judging it as a style. That's I've been trained to judge the style, and this is kind of hard to. You're like, oh, this is not exactly what I'm looking for a white, white stout and bourbon barrel aged.
Let's look at the notes.
So he wrote the notes for all 4 of the ones that. This is the.
Oh well, those are real notes.
Those are real notes. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the golden stout there, the bourbon golden stout.
It's like barley. That's good. Not any percentages.
Well, that's.
We'd like to see like.
Well, no, I think we're looking at this one up here, the bourbon golden stout.
That makes no sense. Sorry.
Well, Centennial is the orange marmalade.
Yeah, I know, but like, why would you use that in a golden stout? Yeah, they're still flaked oats, flake barley.
So I bet you that vanilla. There, coffee beans. So that the cocoa nibs and the coffee beans are given those pyrazines, the green pepper.
Yeah, well, definitely. The coffee.
And then it's bourbon soaked in oak chips, so it's not like it's a bourbon dosed. But yeah, okay, that makes sense. Right on.
Oh, so it's not a bourbon barrel age. It's just he's soaked.
Yeah, that's a good trick for homebrewers to do. You can really make good beers with that technique.
Probably, I would up that if you really want it to be that. Like that's kind of the thing. I'm not getting much bourbon.
Yeah. Hey, it's good. Interesting for sure. I would increase the flaked oats and barley for body, and I'd watch your oxidation and over extraction of the coffee beans, and I think you're there. So I'm not sure where the smoky is coming
maybe
from.
think about the coffee beans. Like use a different coffee bean.
Yeah.
Like the green peppers. Like I've always found like coffee beans. This will be probably people will like maybe not agree with this, but I've always found like a 2 to 3 days soak in the actual beer is better than anything else you can do with the coffee beans.
Yeah.
But
I agree with that. So the orange flavors might be coming from that Centennial hops we picked up. The Maris Otter German Pils, I don't think you needed the Pils, but I would get rid of that and do more Maris Otter for body and more flaked oats.
Or just use cheap pale
base malt.
Like there's for a beer like this, you might as well use a pale malt.
There's good bones to this beer, so it could be.
I would up the crystal a little bit higher even. You want it to be light still in color, but you want a little more.
You can do
more
crystal
body.
10, crystal 10 maybe, crystal 20. Yeah. All right.
Very cool.
Keep brewing, man.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of them. So, all right, Tom, good job, man. We gave you some notes. Now you roll with it, man.
Cheers.
All right, cheers, my friends. Thank you so much for breaking this down. BMore Brew Crew. Until next time, aloha, everybody.